It's time to be inspired. You are tuned in to the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Now here's your host, Viliami Tuivai, Coach V.
Welcome to the Coach V Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Mana Motivation Monday, July 29th, 2019. And the Coach V Show is your station for personal and professional development with expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we become the best we can be. Where iron sharpens iron, together we rise on Island Block Radio, the pulse of the Pacific, where paradise lives. I am your host, Coach V. And the Coach V Show focuses on bringing you powerful and transformational content, knowledge, and proven tactics to help you, me, and we improve on our self-confidence, develop our potential and talent, increase our value and business opportunities, and the realization of our dreams and aspirations. Today, I'm talking about why not you and why not me. We tend to think that we don't have what it takes. At times, some of us, maybe most of us, to achieve something, become something, become someone, overcome our history, our past mistakes, injustices we've been through, and what everyone around us has always been. We often, and maybe not you, but I have, in my youth, thought that success is only for the best amongst us, the special, the unique, talented, that we can only be what we have always been, and that we can never change that. We can never be successful if we have not been successful or seen any form of success anywhere around us. We can never be beyond just making it financially if we have never been financially set or secure every single month. Never. Dang it. It would be lucky for us just to make it this week. Mindset. As we're talking about today's topic, why not you and why not me? Here's the truth. You're right. You, me, and we become what we think we will become. Success and achievement are no easy thing. Never. You see, the leader that you think shouldn't be there, they earned that position. If they don't earn it every day, or if they didn't earn it, they won't stay there very long. The person you think got all the breaks because they look a certain way or because they never had a struggle in their life to get to where they are today. Wrong. Everyone. You, me, we, all of us. Everyone has to earn success. We are all able to become and achieve in this life. All of us. And I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. I'm just saying that it's going to be worth it. The who, what, where, when, why, how, and why all are all important. But the main thing is the who. And that who is you. We will be going over the self today to help you achieve, and me, and we, and succeed in anything that you wish, starting with today's transformation, which can also be seen today as an intervention. In these things, and transforming in this way, leaving behind all that has held you, me, and we back, and becoming anew in terms of how you, me, and we live each and every day. Here are 4 things that I'll be covering in every single segment. One in every single one is one as we talk about the self. Because we cannot control someone else. We cannot control oftentimes the circumstances, the situations it is that fall upon us in life. And the negatives in life happen to us all. But the good thing is so can the success in life. And here are 4 life lessons, 4 attributes, 4 ways to approach life that you, me, and we, if we apply it, these are practical ways that we can apply that I have experienced or will bring to you data and theory, and also that is connected to experience that you, me, and we can apply to our daily lives and transform, interrupt, and make anew. If you, me, and we don't like what it is that is going on in our lives, we must first change it. And here is the question at hand for this Mana Motivation Monday on Island Block Radio on the Coach V Show is, why not you? Why not me? Why can't we become anything it is that we wish to become and or achieve or experience in this thing, in this game called life? That's right. Why not? Why not? And here are 4 life lessons for you, me, and we to consider to apply all over your life so you can experience not only the length of your life, but the width of it as well. As the topic for today, why not you? Or you looking at yourself, or me looking at myself in the mirror and saying, why not me? Why not? Why not? Some cat named Coach V. Why not? And the 4 life lessons that I wish for you to consider this evening that I have used, and the people it is that around me have used, and now that I'm bringing to the show today, some practical ways in terms of your theory, in terms of your thought process, in terms of your daily discipline, in terms of your action, in terms of your transformation, and now intervention with yourself, starting right now, that you say, why not me? And number 1 is self-identity. Number 2 is going to be your self-talk. Number 3 is your self-control. And number 4 is going to be your self-belief. Now, if you have been around me in the 20 plus industries that I've been into, or come and spoken in your industry, to your company, to your organization, to your nonprofit, in your community, from Washington, D.C. to Maui, baby, wherever it is that you are, you know that I always start with self-belief and something about faith. I mean, where else it is that you start? But for today, in terms of this aspect of why not you, why not me, why not we, why not? Self-belief is last. It takes us to the finish line. It allows us, you, me, and we to never quit. Self-identify is first. Second is self-talk. Number 3 is self-control. And number 4 is self-belief. And today, in this segment of the Coach V Show on Island Block Radio, I am talking about self-identity. To self-establish and define who you, me, and we are. And what you, me, and we want to do, to achieve, to accomplish, and or to become. And the first aspect is this aspect in self-identity is, who are you? We are going to become what it is that we see ourselves, as we see ourselves. As we identify ourselves, self-identify. As we identify ourselves, everything else is going to attract to us because of that. And that's some hashtag real talk. If you think you're a gangster and you start putting forth that action, if you self-identify that way and start to reflect that in terms of your daily disciplines, your habits, your daily activities, you, me, and we become that. So therefore, if that is true for someone who is or may be on the negative side or the dark side of this thing called life, or a criminal or a habitual liar or someone who always fails, then we can also become the other. Why not? Because all the negatives, they equally attract, and for some of us make themselves more readily available in the shadows each and every time, always accessible. The success and the positives, we got to work and we got to fight and we got to grind for. But why not? So this self-identify is that we self-establish, we self-define who it is that you, me, and we are. And we self-define what it is that we want to do, what we want to become, what we want to accomplish, and what it is that we want to achieve. As we self-identify with those things, then now we interrupt what it is that we haven't been doing, and we interject or we inject that into our lives, where it is now an intervention in terms of the action and the theory coming together, and we act of the interfering with the outcome or course, especially of a condition or process, changing course on heading down the wrong road or a bad road that would lead to negative consequences, now we put in and interrupt. We intervene. There's an intervention that now we change what it is that we think. We change what it is that we believe. We change our internal response and emotion, and we change our actions, our daily behaviors, and our habits now to become what it is that we self-identify as. And to add to this intervention and this interruption in terms of our self-definition and self-identity and self-identifying of ourselves, this is what it is, the first step, the number one step that I believe and that I have experienced through going through and failing my way to all of the good things that I have ever experienced in life, is seeing myself as deserving, is that I will be good enough. Where now, as I add this third aspect of what we're going over in this segment, is from self-identifying to intervention to now inspiration, of this internal feeling of hope, belief, and faith that moves one to act according. So inspire, self-inspiration within our self-identity as we self-intervene in what it is that's going on or the course it is that we're heading, and we cut that off and go, why not me? If someone else can do it, I can too. Even if it has never been done before, the Toronto Raptors, who just recently won their first NBA championship, they first had to say, why not? Then an intervention of doing some things like firing of their NBA coach of the year, which was a commitment to them operating in a different way than they have in the past. Then they acquired being inspired by maybe getting a guy named Kawhi Leonard from the Spurs, and responded with this why not you, why not me mentality and belief. Went down 2-0, and they needed to be inspired to self-inspire themselves against Milwaukee, down 2-0, inspiration, and then won it all against the Warriors in the NBA Finals. Thomas Edison had the why not me attitude, where he famously is quoted as saying, I have not failed, I have just found 10,000 ways that it won't work. And it doesn't mean it's always going to work. Because even though I and we at UC Davis, in the 2 years it is that I was the starting will linebacker there, we went 12-1 and 10-3. And we self-identified, we inspired ourselves, we did the intervention part, and yet we didn't. We never achieved our goal once. So this is not saying that there's going to be a guarantee that you're going to win and win big, but just this why not me and why not you attitude. Because if there is no why not you and why not me, there's no David beating Goliath. The turtle always beats the rabbit. That's why the Beatles were told no, but yet still became legendary. That's why Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't cut out for TV and became legendary, because she told herself, why not me? The Beatles said, why not me? And what I am saying is, tell yourself, in terms of your self-identification, is why not me? Why an illegal alien who once lived in poverty from Pomona, California, named Viliami that now speaks in over 20 plus industries and has his own radio show on Island Block Radio, because I and you and me and we must dare to say, why not me? You're listening to the Coach V Show. Thank you so much for tuning in, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise on Island Block Radio, the pulse of the Pacific, where paradise lives.
You are tuned in to the Coach V Show, bringing you the expert insights and interviews to help you, me, and we become the best we can be. Now here's your host, Coach Viliami Tuivai, Coach V.
Welcome back to the Coach V Show, as we're talking about why not you and why not me. In the first segment, we talked about this aspect of self-identify. Left in the next 3 segments, starting with this segment here, we are going to be talking about self-talk, self-control, and self-belief. So what is self-talk? I know this about self-talk. I know that if I said half the things it is that I was thinking out loud, this professional speaker, keynote speaker, would get in trouble. But that's where maturity comes in, right? But what we're talking about here in terms of self-talk also is the self-talk, the act or the practice of talking to oneself, either aloud or silently and mentally, in terms of this positive self-talk. See, when negative events or mistakes happen, positive self-talk seeks to bring the positive out of the negative to help you, me, and we do better, go further, or just keep moving forward without stopping or quitting. The practice of this and this discipline, this daily practice and daily discipline of this positive self-talk of why not me? Why not you? Why not we? Of course I can. I can be and become you, me, and we. We can. We must, we will, then will be all it is that we're called to achieve. And not because Coach V says so in terms of my own positive self-talk, but this is what life tells us all. And this positive self-talk is often the process that allows you to discover this obscured optimism, this hope and joy in every and any given situation. So in my studies, I just looked for not only what it is that I've experienced, but something that I've experienced that also makes just some really simple and makes sense. And in my research, I found this on reachout.com. Again, this is on reachout.com. Some 3 ways to make sure that you, me, and we, that this second life lesson in terms of the why not you and why not me topic and the conversation from intervening and changing and transforming your life to becoming whatever it is that you, me, and we wish to be. In terms of self-identity, and then now in terms of this aspect of self-talk, to ways to positively talk and encourage yourself, because you know the critics and the haters, there's enough of those people all around us that you, me, and we, if we are not able or unable to encourage and inspire ourselves, there's going to be some issues in our lives. And in terms of self-talk, that's some hashtag real talk. And here are some 3 ways to talk yourself up, coming to us very simply and plainly from reachout.com, that says, listen to what you're saying to yourself. Here's a recognition and awareness of noticing what your inner voice is saying. So as these are the 3 ways in terms of this aspect that we're talking about in this segment, self-talk, the act or practice of talking to oneself either aloud or silently and mentally, which is some positive self-talk. And here are 3 ways to talk yourself up, is listen to yourself. Number 1, notice and recognize what your inner voice is saying. Is it, here's the question, and listen to what you are saying to yourself. Is your self-talk mostly positive or is it mostly negative? Ooh, it is so easy to talk negative. Especially for me. I mean, just in the last couple of weeks, 2 weeks in a row, I was in Washington, D.C. with the United States Secret Service. And then I was all the way on the other side in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in Maui, talking to the athletic department and all of the 20 plus coaches and the various 20 plus programs of Kekaulike High School, King Kekaulike High School, upcountry in Maui. That sometimes the self-talk to me is like, especially, I mean, with the Secret Service, or in a major conference of all of the farmers insurance agents throughout all of California. And California is bigger than most countries, both economically and people-wise, right? Of this self-talk that being negative is like, V, man, what are you doing here? Who do you think you are? I mean, you're not even a high school coach. You're not coaching high school athletics. You're not a United States Secret Service person. You've never done any of that. You have no experience. You've never been an insurance agent, but you feel like you can go up there and speak in front of thousands or hundreds or, you know, a multitude of people, 40 to 50 people in an athletic program. No, because you have to talk to yourself and say, hey, man, I've done some research. And I have a track record of being able to help stir people's heart, mind, and soul so that they come up with, they don't have to listen and do what it is that I say. I don't even do that anyway. I'm just saying, hey, here's a way of life that I have experienced. So that's my self-talk with myself. Because sometimes I tell myself, it's like, whoa, you're here speaking at Jack in the Box, Corner Bakery, Denny's, and Popeyes, district managers and owners, but you've never done anything in the fast food realm. That can cause some major anxiety. But in terms of my self-talk, I notice what it is that I'm saying, and I'm going, man, these people have hired me because of the value it is that they see in terms of the life skills and the life lessons in my presentation manner, my energy, my enthusiasm, and my ability to engage people so that they can become what it is that they want for their lives. And I'm good with that. The other thing in terms of my self-talk too is not all positive, is that, hey, I am willing to live with the consequences. So we talked about in the last segment, this self-identity. And when I was at UC Davis, we failed. We failed in terms of our goals and what it is. We wanted to be national champions. We went to the national semifinals 2 years in a row, my junior and senior year. It was crushing. But my self-talk to myself now is that, hey, whether you succeed or fail in this deal, you're going to learn and keep moving forward. That I'm willing and able to live with the consequences of living out my purpose. That's my self-talk. And hey, you're here to do what it is that you have been called to be. This is what I'm purposed to be. That's why I have the audacity to stand in front of some of these crowds and talk some real talk about life that can be valued for their life if they choose to live it. And if they don't, I'm willing to live with the consequences of that. I'm willing to live with the consequences of certain industries telling me, man, that doesn't have any place here on this era for the county or for the state or for the city. That talking faith, hey, I get it. Sometimes it doesn't always work out. Most of the time, you don't hit the ball in baseball. That's how this thing goes. And this is my self-talk too. Is that, hey, being a professional speaker and standing in front of people, which is one of the greatest fears, right? It is a hard business to be in, but it beats going to work every day because this is my calling. So in terms of getting back to the 3 ways to talk yourself up, listen to what you're saying to yourself. Notice under that, number 1, listen to what you're saying to yourself. Number 1 is notice what your inner voice is saying. 2, is your talk mostly positive or negative? And each day make some notes on what your thought process is and what it is that you're thinking. Number 2 on 3 ways to talk yourself up is to challenge your self-talk. That's where the why not me and why not you comes up. Is there any actual evidence for what I'm thinking? Well, if someone or something planted this into your mind, why wouldn't you? Something that is an inner calling, that is your passion, and says, hey, you know what? You need to go out and do this. So one of my things is, as audacious as I am, I'm not going to go, man, I want to go swim and break Phelps' record, even though swimmers are doing that right now. I mean, there are swimmers out there just this past weekend that are knocking on the door of the achievements that Michael Phelps has. But that's not, I'm challenging myself talk. I don't talk myself like that, right? Is there any evidence for what it is that you're thinking? What would I say if a friend were in a similar situation? And can I do anything to change what I'm feeling bad about? Like, why not? Why not you in terms of success and achievement? Why not you? You telling yourself, why not me? Enjoy success and achievement and enjoy peace, happiness, fulfillment, and love. Why not? And then so after you listen, and then number 2 is you challenge your self-talk. Number 3 is now change your self-talk. Why not me? Of course I can. This is going to be hard. Be realistic. This is going to take maybe longer than I thought, more money than I thought. Yeah, but I can do this. Make a list of positive things about yourself. Make a list of the things it is, and you're going to notice. Make a list of all the things it is that you've overcome to get to where it is that you are today. Instead of saying, I'll never be able to do this. So change your self-talk. Is there anything I can do that will help me do this? What are the things it is that I need to do? And even more so, where there's money in the transaction, but the wealth is in the relationships, is who do I talk to help me achieve these things? In this segment again, self-talk. The act or practice of talking to oneself either aloud or silently and mentally. There's positive self-talk. Number 1, listen to what you're saying to yourself. Number 2, challenge your self-talk. Number 3 is change your self-talk. Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. I would add to that quote by saying this: whether you tell yourself you can or tell yourself you can't, you're right. Why not you? Why not me? You're listening to the Coach V Show on Island Block Radio. We're talking about self-identity, self-talk, self-control, and self-belief. And why not? Why not you? Why not me? Thank you so much for tuning in. Please stay tuned. You're listening to the Coach V Show on Island Block Radio.
You are now tuned in to the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Now here's your host, Coach V.
Welcome back to the Coach V Show on Island Block Radio. We're talking about why not you, and you telling yourself, why not me? We talked in the first 2 segments about self-identity, and in the second segment, we talked about self-talk. And here's another self for you. Number 3 on the Coach V list, the life lessons of this why not you and why not me mentality, approach, and everyday way of living that will transform your life to becoming who it is that you, me, and we are meant to be. And number 3 is self-control. The effortful or the full effort that is put into controlling your behaviors, you, me, and we, our thoughts, our emotions, with the aim of increasing the likelihood of attaining long-term over short-term outcomes. No flash in the pan, no snap, no genie in the lamp, none of that. This self-control is committed to the long term, to the long game, to whatever it takes. That's why not me and the why not you will work, because we understand that it has to be earned. It's going to take time. It will be hard, and even more so than hard. Oftentimes more it is than what we are capable of. But when we are able to now operate outside of our capacity to understand, to comprehend our comfort zone, that is not only where our success and achievement is waiting for us, but also our joy, peace, happiness, fulfillment, and love. This aspect of self-control. Number 3 on the Coach V life lessons for making the why not you and the why not me approach to life happen to transform our life. It's this aspect of self-control. Controlling what we can control, and part of that is work. Putting in that work. Putting in that action. For all of these things are nouns that work better as verbs, because without action, everything it is that we want are just words. All of our goals and achievements are just words. Even the joy, peace, happiness, love in our life that we have as a goal, all of those things are just words without the work. The activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or a result. That is something we can control in terms of self-control. The control of our behaviors, our thoughts, emotions, with the aim of increasing the likelihood of attaining long-term over short-term outcomes. I mean, what else is it about than outcome, results, that comes from execution and action. The work, the activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or a result. The action, putting in that action, the execution, the fact or process of doing something typically to achieve an aim. That is the action. Are those actions in which you can control? We can do these things. We can practice. We can prepare. We can put it on our calendar. We can meet the right people at the right time. It is that the actions means we can show up on time to appointments, respect other people. These are the things that you, me, and we can control. And then the execution, the carrying out or putting into effect a plan, an order, or a course of action. Self-control. And this is one of the reasons why, during my time spent with the Boise State Broncos, 8 years on a blue field in Boise, Idaho, put in the work. Those teams were all about that action, that coaching staff, everyone around, from the athletic director, the president on campus. I mean, everybody was doing their very best in what it is their self-control, the effortful control of their behaviors, thoughts, and emotions with the aim of increasing the likelihood of attaining long-term over short-term outcomes. Here is the long-term outcome during my 8 years there with those amazing people, championship organization, championship players, parents that these players came from, a championship community and a championship university and a championship staff. 8 years, 7 conference championships or co-champions, 8 bowl game appearances, and 2 Fiesta Bowl championships for a team that wasn't ever supposed to really get there. And then at one point, the long-term effect was that Boise State was then expected to be there. But it starts with this mindset, this thought, this belief, and then a control system that says, why not me? And then you prove it. You, me, and we prove it by saying, this is why not. Because I will have self-control. And as you listen to those 8 years that I just discussed and talked about during my tenure there, where I was blessed, it was some of the most amazing and also hardest times of my life, right? It's this self-control of your behaviors and your thoughts and your emotions with the aim of increasing the likelihood. 7 out of 8 years we were champions there of the conference, of attaining long-term over short-term outcomes, putting in the work, meaning the activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or a result over and over and over and over. This is why not. Why not you? Because you will persevere. You can. You must, you will, then you'll be all it is that you're called to achieve. And not because Coach V has these catchy little phrases to say so. I'm just able to word out what life has told all of us, allows and affords all of us, right? And there are no guarantees like I talked about. Man, when I was at Davis, we had some of the best teams in America in Division II NCAA football, and we did not achieve it once. With some amazing teams my junior and senior year after transferring there. It was some of the most crushing defeats of my life. I just talk about it. I just remember just losing in those semifinal games. At home my junior year and on the road in North Dakota, man. Crushing. But this why not me and why not you attitude, approach, and everyday way of living doesn't say it's gonna be easy. It just says it's gonna be worth it. And you, me, and we in the long term must be good with the fact that we can live with the consequences, the outcomes as the result of this everyday way of living. Why not you? Why not me? And whatever it is that you are trying to get done out there, whatever it is that you may be. In one of the earlier segments, I talked about the Beatles. I'm not a huge Beatles fan. Like, I just don't have the Beatles music all over my playlist and everything. I don't have a Pandora Beatles, station. I don't. But this is how great those guys were. That a cat my age, or even my kids' age at 10 and 7, they are familiar with their music. Because they told themselves, despite the fact that the studios over and over telling them that that's not something the public or the world would be interested in, that they did it anyway. Why not you? Why not me? And what it is that you, me, and we hope to achieve in our lives, in our daily goals, in our weekly goals, in our monthly goals, in our quarterly goals. What is that? For our weight, for our health, for our family experiences. Why not us? Why not? Oprah Winfrey, legendary. These are common known, very audacious people that started with the aspect of saying, why not me? They may be calling it something different than it is that I am. But to me, it's still the same. It's like, why not? Why not me? Because if you don't feel that you can or you can't, Henry Ford says you're right. But that is an audacity that's needed. It's just saying, why not me? Why not me be able to achieve and become better than I've ever been? Be able to now handle something I couldn't handle before. Like marriage. Are you kidding me? Marriage and raising children? That's one of the most audacious things anybody can do. To be that selfish, selfless, to not be selfish. And to be willing to compromise for someone other than yourself. To tell yourself that it's not about me. In terms of that. That's a why not me attitude. Because some people are so selfish they can never see themselves being like that. To put other people in front of themselves, their interests, their well-being, their welfare. But those are the things that you, me, and we can and must do. As we talk about, and we will go into the next segment as well, of this aspect of why not me? Why not you? Why not we? And why not us? Is this aspect of self-control, controlling what you, me, and we can in terms of the effortful control of behaviors, thoughts, or emotions with the aim of increasing the likelihood of attaining long-term over short-term outcomes. Why not me? Why not you? And why not us? In the next segment, we'll be talking about self-belief. Keep it locked. We'll be back after this brief music break. You're listening to the Coach V Show. Thank you so much for tuning in, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise on Island Block Radio, the pulse of the Pacific, where paradise lives.
You are now tuned in to the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Now here's your host, Coach V.
Welcome back to the Coach V Show on Island Block Radio. We are into segment 4 on this aspect, this life lesson, this approach from Coach V in terms of why not you? Why not me? And we're talking about 4 life lessons from your boy Coach V on self-identity, self-talk, and self-control. Now self-belief in this segment to now transform and no longer becoming what it is that you were to become what it is that you're going to, because now there is an injection of this aspect of self-identity, your self-talk, your self-control, and now also self-belief. And here's a Coach V quote that says, failure is not the act of reaching for your dreams and not achieving them. It's when we never try at all that is failure. Coach V quote again, failure is not the act of reaching for your dreams and not achieving them. It's when we never try at all that is failure. And then Confucius also says, as we're talking about self-belief, Because if you don't believe, you'll never start. You'll never try. You mean we won't get out of our comfort zone. We'll never put down the money it is that we don't have. We'll never try to get the money and reach for the relationships it is that we need to get what it is that we want, to achieve what it is that we're either called to be or we feel like in life we're purposed to be. We won't do it. And Confucius says, it does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. We're talking about self-belief and never quitting. Well, self-belief is a confidence that you, me, and we have. A confidence in our own abilities or our judgment. Our confidence in our ability that though we may fail, that we're going to figure it out. Our confidence is that even though it is overwhelming and anxiety riddled, that we keep going anyway. Our confidence that even though we feel like we have no clue and this thing called being a parent or a father or a mother is not working out for us, we come back and we show up the next time it is that we are needed by our children. The confidence that even though that the marriage isn't going the way it is that you thought, because being married is a lot different after the honeymoon it is than when it is that you, me, and we were planning the wedding. But yet we still believe and we have the confidence in our ability, in our judgment to work through what it is that is going wrong, in spite of the struggle, in spite of the adversity and the setbacks and the roadblocks and the embarrassments, that we believe and we have confidence in our own abilities and our judgment to figure things out. This self-belief that you don't know where all the funding is going to come from. You don't even know where the energy is going to come from. And here's a tip that has helped me decrease my anxiety, whether it's with the nonprofit it is that I have with Invictus Youth Foundation, and where is the money going to come from? Is there any kids that are going to show up? Are any sponsors going to support what it is that I do? That I roll with a confidence in my abilities, in my judgment, and roll with the people it is that I may not have known very well, and now I know them well. I'm confident that they can do what it is that they're needing to do, and not micromanaging them because of the fact that they can do it without me worrying or micromanaging and texting and calling and emailing about all the things it is that I just trust them with full confidence that they know what it is that is the mission and the vision, and that they care about it like I do in terms of the details, and have full confidence in my abilities and in their abilities. The self-belief. And I've needed all these things. Now, when I first started, in 2011, I couldn't give speaking away. I couldn't give it away, man. I tried to speak at these places. All the Rotaries that know and love me now, I would email those Rotaries back in 2011 right here locally, let alone all the Rotaries that email me from all around California now. When I first started, I wouldn't get a response. Not one. But this self-belief gave me the confidence, because I felt like this is what I have been purposed to do. Even though, the legendary stories about Michael Jordan getting cut from a high school team, whether that's right or wrong, and the debate on that, but that dude, you want to talk about confidence, self-belief, and when the shot counted and was needed, the guy was willing to live with the consequences of missing the shot, let alone making the shot. As we're talking about why not you, why not me, where self-identity, self-talk, and this aspect of self-control, and then self-belief is required and demanded for us to transform and have this intervention where we change the direction and the trajectory of our life to going where it is that we want to go. We need these aspects. We need these 4 life lessons. And then becoming a success coach for me, boy, I needed to be confident in my abilities and my judgment to now show up every quarter. Now I have companies asking me to show up every quarter. So I really didn't have a program for that because I've only done bi-quarterly meetings. But now with insurance companies, with franchisees in the food industry, coming in bi-quarterly, now insurance and investment firms all over California and across the West want me to have quarterly success coach meetings with them. Now from Maui all the way to the East Coast. I'm having agencies for the government. And so, yes, the skill set and my execution has helped me garner some of this attraction. But make no mistake, people love winners. They also love confidence. Not just the fact that even what it is that I am saying is relevant to their industry, but that I am confident and know what the hell it is that is my own script that I'm wanting to present and talk to these companies about. This self-belief. And in that self-belief, that regardless of how long it is going to take you, me, and we never stop this belief that we are able, that we are deserving, and that even though we may not have the answer directly right now, that you, me, and we will be able to figure these things out, and we will not quit. Because when things go wrong, as they most times will, and when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when life is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Because life is weird with its twists and its turns, as every one of us sometimes learns that many a person see they turn about when they might have won had they stuck it out. So don't give up though the pace seems slow, you will succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it appears to a faltering woman or man. For you see, the struggler, he or she is often given up when they might have captured the victor's cup. But they did not learn until the night came down how close they were to the golden crown. Because success is failure turned inside out, in a silver tint in this thing called doubt. And you never can tell how close you are, because it may be right here when it seems so far. But stick to the fight when your hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you must not quit. The Coach V Show on Island Block Radio. Why not you? Why not me? Why not we? Become and do anything it is that we wish and want to achieve. If somebody else can do it, we can too. And if it's never been done, let's try and go after it and do it anyway. And the 4 life lessons shared this evening is self-identity, self-talk, self-discipline, and self-belief. Meaning never, ever quit. And here are some shout outs as we also end the show. There's a shout out to all the football teams out there at every level that are out there either preparing right now because these NFL camps have just started this week. And I remember being in an exciting and also anxious time as a player in high school and college. Never played in the NFL, but I just remember the excitement and the anxiousness of getting ready to strap the pads on and get out there and get after it. Because really, at this time, even as the NFL camps have opened right now, there's also college camps about to open, and some high school teams, which I was out in Maui last week, they were already starting football practice in pads already in mid-July. So the preparation and the practice are critical, right? because the game time will only reflect what it is that the preparation and practice that it takes. So good luck to all the NFL teams and the college players getting ready out there to report. And as Tom Brady responds with this, when always asked, which Super Bowl ring is your favorite? He always says the next one. And I love my man Tom Brady. He is one of the prime examples of the why not you, why not me, and why not we attitude. That's the Coach V Show for this Motivation Monday. Connect with me on the Coach V on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. Shoot me a message with the topics you'd like me to cover and insights that would add value to the topics I do cover. I would love to engage and interact with you. It is of great importance for each of us to better ourselves, not only just to gain advantage to obtaining success, but for the sake of being our best. In doing so, we realize the best of our abilities and that everything and anything we believe and work for can be achieved. This is how this success coach, keynote speaker, radio show host, and author lives. All about faith and family. Grateful for God's amazing grace. Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. And tune in every Motivation Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to the Coach V Show, where iron sharpens iron. Together we rise on Island Block Radio, the pulse of the Pacific, where paradise lives.
Coach V Show.